people that actually responded when I reached out to 100 people. So I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the trust. Thank you so much. Pavel,
Sure.
ask questions. I did some research on your background. It's very interesting. I don't want to take any companies' names. You can cut me out. But these are the questions that I have. I think that will help our audience and also your future prospects. More.
Mhm.
All right. So my first question to you is: you have spent over a decade building FDA-regulated medical display systems, right?
Well, I spent last 14 years building medical systems. That's
Gotcha.
usually embedded product, and we were putting those products
Yeah.
in hospitals around the globe. So, yeah.
Awesome. So my question there is, when AI agents start generating firmware or embedded code for safety critical medical devices, who's actually liable when something fails? Do you think the engineer, the AI vendor, the company that shipped the device? What's your take?
I think liability did not change. Liability stays with a company and people who's working for a company. Tools they are using, they could write it on a piece of paper or use AI agent. It's still a tool. And people who is putting signature on documentation for design, they are liable. They are responsible for quality and delivery.
So what I'm hearing is it's the vendor.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
vendor who's suggesting to use certain
Yeah.
tools. They should
No,
take.
no, not vendor of tools. No, what I'm saying is company who is producing medical devices, this is who is liable for product
Gotcha.
quality. How
Gotcha.
company produced that product is irrelevant.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So whoever owns the product, hey, you happen to use these tools, you happen to use leverage all these
Correct.
vendors, but you are responsible.
Yeah, yeah,
You're the customer.
absolutely.
Makes sense. Makes sense. The follow-up question on that, you wrote about hybrid engineering teams, right?
Hmm.
Where AI agents join the org chart, but
Hmm.
in embedded systems, a single bit flip can kill someone, right?
It's not like that.
Okay.
So
Tell me
it's
more.
too simplistic view of embedded systems.
Okay.
What I wrote about hybrid teams, I think it's a future. It is coming. Do we like it or not? It will be about efficiency and productivity of these same teams who is producing products, developing those products. So rigor on design is not going anywhere.
All
If
right.
anything, you actually getting teams more capable to deliver higher quality product because they have more abilities, more capabilities to work uh, for quality.
Gotcha. So, a follow-up question, right? At what point do you think delegating to an AI agent um, cross the line from productivity tool to negligent engineering practice?
Um, I think negligence could be with or without AI tools. So, and having process in place which is in control of quality output, which is what important. And while once you set up this process and have enforcements in place, I still think human in the loop will be quite for quite some time, and human in the loop will be responsible for output, not AI tools. There are,
Absolutely.
of course, things are happening. People trying to trust tools more than they should, but we also already started seeing cases when you ask engineer why your part your feature doing what it's doing and answers attempt to answer, yeah, I don't really know, AI pulled it off like that. Attempts are there, but it's where you have a process which restricts this kind of approach. So process stays in place, and enforcement stays in the place, and with this tooling you actually have more capabilities to do it. But that's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I'm believing in this 80/20 more and more in every aspect of my life. For example, I reached out to 100 people. 80 of them didn't even care to respond. They did not acknowledge, which is okay. Rejections is part of the game, right? But then some of them complained too. But you're one of those 20 that actually took some time out to schedule and then actually showed up too. So, same thing with automations too, whatever systems I'm building. I always double down on I need 20% of the human intervention for the decision making, for the final push button, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to see 100% automated systems. I need that human intervention there, especially with what you just said, embedded
Well,
system.
it depends. You know, functional safety critical systems, patient critical systems. They need more attention. They need more intervention. There are places where I would hand it off to AI to work in a workflow and deliver certain result. So it depends. It's risk-driven approach. You need to manage those risks and make conscious decision where you hand it off and where you keep it for humans to decide. And in the end, if everybody getting on this horse with AI, people have no choice. Companies have no choice, but they need to start getting on this tooling and start utilizing it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they will be priced out by competition.
absolutely.
However, quality is quality, and if you compromise that quality, it will come back. And in AI world, it might come back even faster than it used to come back in the past. So it will turn around a lot faster because you delivered a lot faster.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, I agree with that approach. It's again case by case basis, but end of the day, human has to own the outcome. He can
yeah.
leverage AI, but yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Question for you. This could be personal. You immigrated from Belarus, went from writing DOS 6.2 to code for railway wagon wheel inspectors to leading the R&D at a publicly traded medical device company. So, what's a one decision in that journey that, if you had made it differently, none of this would exist?
There was a whole chain of events, and thinking of this way, at some point, I just decided that I need to start taking risks, and risks were calculated, but still taking risk, taking a job across the world with not knowing what I'm getting myself into. That was a risk not everybody took, right?
Absolutely,
Having that drive, not everything went smooth from day
absolutely.
one when I joined the company, and I had to, find my place as well. So it take time. I don't know. There was not one decision which would turn things around. I don't think so.
Understood.
But I was always interested to be in the center of technology, in the center of
Fair enough.
technology world. That's why my drive was basically towards place where it is, and Silicon Valley looks like the place to go. You know.
Absolutely. It's common sense, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in the banking, you would rather be in somewhere on the East Coast. If you're in technology, you have to be on the West Coast. But not everyone, even me. I did not take that risk. I'm here in the Southwest, Southeast, Atlanta. So kudos to you. Um, I'm a first generation immigrant as well, so I understand how hard it is to make that call, leaving everything you got behind, and your heart is elsewhere. But also, this is a beautiful country. The culture accepts you, invites you, and I guess whatever we are trying to build, um, it's more appreciated. This in this country, and then you get that platform to take it forward at a higher rate. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. What do you
I don't
think?
know. It's hard for me to say how much it would be appreciated back in Belarus. I'm too long out of the country. I don't feel anymore what is going on out there. Even visiting for a few days, it doesn't change understanding. So I understand this place better, and I agree with you. It was not so difficult to blend in. It was, a lot of people who helped and supported. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The culture itself is inviting. I mean, not every place. Right now, I also see
Yeah,
some
it depends.
pushback, but end of the day, in general, it's very welcoming, very marketing,
Yeah,
very, um, it gives you platform to build your brand.
yeah.
Pavel, so let me get back to this one question that I'm really curious. So you have talked about moving from software that executes instructions to software that pursues goals, right? The agents, if that's the right word to use. But in embedded medical systems, pursuing goals autonomously is literally what regulators are designed to prevent, isn't it?
Regulators interested to make sure that products which delivered to the market are safe for a patient. Okay, that is a cornerstone in their mindset and in all regulations they put together. If you look even at FDA regulations, they don't define strict rules how you need to run your company, how you need to run your development. They define framework. They make sure that you abide by that framework. But
Hmm.
internal quality standards is a company decision what works, what doesn't, and how they will decide it. FDA will audit on it, and FDA will make sure that you're not violating your own rules. But you still need to abide by framework they provide. So, what are you using internally? FDA is coming up with regulations related to AI as well, but it's always taking them some time to accommodate and to understand new technologies. So, we still yet to see what is it really going to be framework from them.
Yeah, yeah. Um, this might be another personal question, but I want to ask. You tell me how you want to handle this. So your boss at Novanta, right?
Mhm.
So I saw a comment from him. He said the key to AI is providing the right context, not just technical but business model context. What's your two
Yep.
cents on it?
Well, in general, so I heavily started heavily using AI tooling about 3.5 years ago when it's really started taking off. That's where I picked up. And experience and my observations tells me I'm not so worried anymore about which language model I'm using, even so I have preferences. What's important is to provide as much context as possible to those models. Why would I say that? Because I see quality output depends on that. And it's just, to me, it's more optimization and workflow in the process than, requirement from anybody. It's more about how fast do I converge to result I'm aiming when I'm working on specific task. So providing context, and many people were talking until very recently about prompt engineering. I moved into context engineering terms over a year ago, and I see results are very different. Even a year ago, when tooling was not at the level where it is today, more context you provide, and I'm running like even simple presentation. I have I created as a project. I work on the context engineering
That's good.
for several hours, sometimes several days before I get to developing slides themselves. So
Absolutely.
more information, more context embedded into that project. Faster I converge and less I need to verify output because I just know it will come out
That's right.
as I expect.
That's right. Yeah. End of the day, it's your assistant. It's just helping you. But if you don't give the context, it's just going hallucinating and to
Yep.
random places. I believe in that. Even in our general life, right? The way that I'm talking to you cannot be the way that I talk to my kids or somebody else. The context has to be really important. The timing, the context. It could be about the
Mhm.
same topic. It's just the way you talk to them depends on where they are at right now.
Mhm.
Right? So I believe in those two.
You set expectation differently. You set a tone differently, right? So, and that's a context engineering again.
Yeah. I got this interesting question. So you built a 3D engine at Aeromash, right, in Belarus in the
Oh
early
yeah, that
2000s,
was so long time ago.
a long time ago. Is the question is that's a gaming military technology, isn't is that right?
We were developing training systems for personnel at airbase. So it was used by pilots, it was used by control tower people, it was used by technicians on the field who is servicing planes. Yeah.
Got it. I guess the question is then you are now in medical devices. So, what did building a 3D engine teach you about system architecture that still shows up in how you design surgical display firmware today?
So in general, my whole career was in product development, which was not just one system. Recently, I started talking more about. In the past, we were talking about modules, components. Um, Recently, I changed my language, and I'm more talking about system of systems.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's all about abstraction layer. It's all about what are you focusing on at. You know, if you think of medical display, it's a system, because if you look inside, they have number of systems. You could call it subsystem, but it doesn't help you, because you need to think. If you build this semantic model with hierarchy of systems, there will be always overarching system, and there will always be components. But when you drill down into each component, it will be a system itself. So, and even if you take medical display or any medical device, in you always gonna have that operating in, say, operating room, and that's a system as well, because there are a number of systems interacting with each other, and you could abstract it to the point some hospitals have 50 operating rooms, and all of a sudden you have different type of system.
Yeah.
So my whole career was in product development, which was complex system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and that's basically any job I ever took, any project I ever took, it was about engineering and architecting certain system,
Yeah.
and figuring out how it will fit in overarching system.
Absolutely. So I have a funny acronym for this process. I call it GPS method. GPS is you got to find a gap, and then you got to meet with your people and plan and strategize. That's the P, right? And then the third level is you end up with building a process and a system. That's what actually runs it when you're not around. So find the gap, strategize, plan with your people, and then build a process and a system that actually runs it.
GPS, you said? Very cool.
GPS is very, I mean, it's silly, but it works. It works in
Yeah,
most cases. So
that, yeah, agreed.
yeah, system thinking, right? I'm
Yep.
thinking that
Yep.
end of the day, I can preach to my kids, but what is the system that will help them stay accountable, right? System thinking. So cool. Thank you so much for sharing, Pavel. Like I said, I'm really grateful. I'm gonna send you all the resources that I have. If there is anything at all that I'd love to help out as well. What is the one question that I haven't asked you yet that I should have asked you in the first place?
Um, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, I have next to my name, you will find architecting for living. And it's really what I'm doing. Okay. So it's a motto in my, career, in my life. I do like to create products. I do like to create things, but to me, it's more interesting to find that problem and figure out how to solve it. That's where energy is usually.
Absolutely.
But recently, I also like to make development process work wherever I touch it. If I see some deficiency, I do really like to change it around and make it work without me present.
That's cool. That's cool. Really good to know you. Thank you so much for your time and trust again. I'll reach out
Sure.
back to you with all the resources, and I'd love to stay connected. And if there is anything interesting going on, I'd love to hang out with you, learn from you, and if you can create another podcast episode, that will be awesome.
Sure. Yeah,
Cool.
let's do it again. No
Awesome.
problem.
Let's stay in touch, and then good to meet you.
See
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye now.